Hey everyone, Skull902 here, and this one's gonna be weird as things went unexpectedly. But back in April, my good pals Tails the Prower 71 and Rouge of the Night gave me an offer I quite frankly couldn't refuse. Tickets to Sonic Symphony in Chicago on October 12th, a hotel room of my own, everything paid for. I happily accepted the offer, and planning began. We talked about it behind the scenes every now and then over the following few months, and, on the personal side of things, I wanted to be extra prepared. I got my shots about 3 weeks beforehand in case someone there had something, and I went about procuring some items so I could recognizably be there as me without my face being revealed. Special thanks to Teespring for taking so long with my order I had to bootleg my own t-shirt to have it in time. The biggest part of preparations was making the announcement itself, putting out a video on September 30th that I would, in fact, be making my first unofficial public appearance at the Symphony. Surely everything was gonna turn out fine. Meeting TTP and Rouge was such a beautiful experience. I walked out to them outside my apartment and we were all smiles, chatting it up and getting the car loaded. They even got me a couple Amy Rose themed gifts. I'm sorry I couldn't think of anything to return the favor with. Very sweet of them, and I promise you both I will one day return the favor. It was honestly a pretty smooth ride. Felt like we were making good headway the entire time. In preparation for this video, TTP was on the ball shooting some B-roll footage, and my god, Indiana, from the Michigan border, and Illinois have some really boring highway welcoming signs. Step it up, man, Michigan's is legit. It felt almost surreal getting to Chicago from I-94 though. The whatever it is now tower pops up first, and then the whole skyline appears right in front of you, almost as if you're driving right into a picture. We got to the hotel and I've not been hit with such a wave of exhaustion often, and this was the absolute worst time for it to happen. About 2 hours before the show, I started feeling heavy and just dead. Then, as it started to rain, my allergies kicked in, making me sniffy and slightly scratchy-throated. I tried waiting it out, but it wasn't letting up and I had to cancel last minute, which I felt horrible about. Again, if anyone was disappointed by the news, I'm truly sorry. I had quite a rough night that night. Exhaustion and allergy symptoms led into stomach cramps and I couldn't get a lot of sleep. One silver lining was that I did get some footage of something TTP hadn't, the hotel room, while he and Rouge were at the Symphony being mildly entertained.
Yeah, my boy! My boy!
I felt well enough before bed to do a little tour of the room because I promised some friends I would. TTP and Rouge really hooked me up. It was like a mini suite. A separated bedroom with giant bed, TV, and balcony, nice bathroom, robe included, a living area with TV number 2, desk, and a mini fridge to put your Baja Blast in. It was pretty sick, and again, my thanks to them for providing me with such a fancy place to stay in. I really treasure such kindness. That being said, this is about the Symphony experience, and while I wasn't able to attend, TTP and Rouge were, and they got plenty of pictures and footage to show. Here's TTP to tell you about it.
Thank you, Skull. Hey everybody, Tails the Prower 71 here. Before we dive in, I just want to thank Skull so much for joining us on this trip. It was an honor and privilege to meet Skull, and while we couldn't be together at Sonic Symphony, it was still an honor to road trip with him to Chicago and back. Rouge and I are both very sorry for that he started feeling unwell after we arrived in Chicago. Let's chat about my Sonic Symphony experience. By the time we arrived, the venue doors were already open, and Sonic fans were flooding the lobby. Being surrounded by hundreds of Sonic fans in one room is something that's really hard to put into words. When you're surrounded by people who feel just as passionate as you do about any fandom, this isn't just true with Sonic, but any fandom, the atmosphere is incredibly electrifying, and Sonic is absolutely no different. It's like being in the same room with a couple thousand of your friends, just singing along to the songs that, we grew up with, laughing at all the fun and meme moments, like seeing Eggman in the Chow lobby in SA2, or Tails yeeting the Burger Man statue in Station Square in Sonic Adventure. To quote Rouge of the Night, it was unifying. I found myself humming and singing along with the orchestral music. Dreams of an Absolution was a masterpiece, and it definitely brought tears to my eyes. It was wonderful to see Sonic Heroes getting much needed love. And of course, let's not forget the classic medleys of Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Knuckles. The games that I grew up with, the games of my era. And of course, Sonic Mania, absolutely Mania, getting some love as well. And the orchestra nailed it, just absolutely nailed it. Being that this is the year of Shadow the Hedgehog, the Symphony definitely did not let us down with Shadow content. All of Me kicked things off after intermission, and everyone was absolutely just getting into it. Like, I mean, the floor was shaking and everything. It was absolutely intense. All Hail Shadow followed I Am All of Me, and wow, the energy. I mean, the energy that just kind of followed All of Me to All Hail Shadow, just, oh man. And the rock band just absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was phenomenal. So the Sonic Symphony, kudos to everybody at the Sonic Symphony and to Shota Nakama for knocking it out of the park there and throwing us a curveball with throwing Never Turn Back in there for us. So it was absolutely beautiful and phenomenal. Knuckles got a lot of love this year, with the awesome rap battle with the Ghost Pumpkin Soup and Unknown from ME getting played and having a nice little rap battle. That was awesome. And again, and Chicago did not disappoint in that for sure. And Chicago also did not disappoint in Reach for the Stars. We lit that stage up. And how can you not get choked up when Endless Possibility hits your eardrums? Oh my gosh. I cried. I straight up cried. And we started the heavy metal section off with Break Through It All. Of course, Wyvern's theme from Sonic Frontiers. By this point in the symphony, my voice was shot. I mean, it was a shot. So, like, I'm off-key, singing horribly. I can't sing, like, you know, at this point, because I was so busy, like, yelling and screaming from earlier. Just, oh my goodness. And the same was also true for Find Your Flame. That came up next, and again, everybody was just getting into it. It was absolutely beautiful. And this year, we actually got I'm Here, vocal I'm Here from the band, which was amazing. And that built up to the two finale and encore songs, Escape from the City and Live and Learn. Oh, to end off the show. Oh my god, just chef's kiss. It was wonderful. And the energy from not just the band and the orchestra, but the crowd was absolutely amazing. It was a wonderful symphony. Comparing it to Sonic Symphony Chicago 2023, I would say 2024 was just as epic. It was awesome hearing the new songs, and I'm happy that the team behind the symphony listens to the fans and adds new music each year. I think that's really cool, and I can't talk about I can't end right here. I gotta talk about some stuff here regarding friendships. Shadoukun over on Twitch, Rouge and I bought his ticket for the Sonic Symphony as well, so he could attend with us. And it was such an honor and pleasure to meet Shad. Shad, thank you so much for the gifts that you gave Rouge and I. Thank you so much. We also got to meet Derpy Tater, also a streamer on Twitch, who brought us candy. Thank you so much. Like that was absolutely amazing and very kind and generous of you, both of you. Thank you so much. Just the memories that were formed from this symphony was just absolutely astounding. After the show, Rouge, Shadoukun, Derpy Tater, and we met up for midnight breakfast in Chicago, which was awesome. We were just hanging out, talking about the show, talking about Sonic, and our other interests and hobbies. And that's so cool when you can actually talk to some fellow content creators and streamers out there in the wild that are just as passionate about Sonic and their hobby and their other interests and hobbies, and it makes you excited and want to learn more as well. So the symphony, it's more than just music. It's about forming these bonds of friendships that that lasts a lifetime, and I think that is something that we can all as Sonic fans aspire to. And to Derpy Tater and Shadoukun, I hope to meet you all again very soon for more adventures. And if any of you ever get the chance to to attend a Sonic Symphony, please do. It's well worth it. So open your heart, take in the music, and live and learn. Back to you, Skull.
The next morning, as I said, was a rough one. I gave TTP and Rouge a status update, and I really appreciate how understanding they were of the situation. We were able to leave for home with time to spare before checkout, and while I was feeling generally icky throughout the ride, we all still had a good time conversing, mildly celebrating as we crossed back into Michigan.
We are home.
Most of the trip was rainy, which had me a little concerned considering all the power outage issues I've had this year, and the last notable thing about the ride back was TTP updating us on the score of the Detroit-Dallas NFL game, which ended up being a resounding victory for the good guys. We had a good long goodbye in the parking lot of my apartment and wished each other well, looking forward to next time whenever it comes. I'd like to thank TTP and Rouge for everything they did for me before, during, and after the show. Shadoukun and Derpy Tater as well for also being understanding of why I couldn't make it. To them and any fans that might have expected me there, once again, my sincerest apologies for my absence. I'm glad to hear that our meetup group was still able to have a great time, and if there's one good thing that came from my absence, it's that I had money left over to make a big donation to my Extra Life page and get us further to this year's goal. So that's our story. Obviously different from what we'd planned, but I hope this still ended up being a good look at the show. And if anyone from Sonic Symphony happens to be watching, please come to Detroit. The Fox Theater's right there. I could make that show easy peasy. Or at least do Cleveland again, that's not too far away. Please? Thanks for watching. Feel free to let me know what you thought about the video in the comments. Give it a like if you liked it, or a dislike if you didn't. If you'd like to see more, subscribe and click the bell for notifications. It's free and you can opt out anytime. Here's a playlist with similar content, and my Twitter. I have been Skull902, thank you again for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.